Yeah, hi, good afternoon. Yes, Nagalakshmi. Are you there in the line? Yes, Nagalakshmi, if you are there in the line, you please respond. Are you able to audible or not? Yes, good afternoon. Now, today the subject is DBMS, DBMS, that is Database Management System. This is your fourth semester subject. The this subject you will have the class timing from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And my name is Ravi Kiran. Now these are the list of topics. Yes, these are the list of topics of your subject. Database definition, its history, and applications of the database management system. Now under this, there are subtopics are there. The one is that is definition of DBMS. Next one, history of DBMS. Then what are the disadvantages of file system? Now, what are the list of components under the DBMS? And where we use the database, that their applications, and which field we use the database. That is the database applications. And the difference between the file system and the database management system. So these are the topics we are going to cover in today's session. Now for this, I'm sharing one notes. There are multiple notes are available for this subject. The one material is provided by the uh, your university. That material is a textbook is provided by the university, your home university. So in this textbook is written by, these are the list of authors. List of authors. These are all you can refer. And the topics were also written in this textbook. We can go through them. What are the list of topics we are going to cover in this subject? Now see, there are four blocks are there. Now see here. Now see, there are four blocks are there. Block 1, block 2, block 3, and block 4. So the complete DBMS syllabus, they have classified into four blocks. So this is your syllabus. In the first block, so they are covering the fundamentals of DBMS and what is the entity relationship model and what are the list of relational model. These are the topics we're covering under three units, unit 1, 2, and 3. So this three units comes under block 1. So that is one. And coming to block 2, they are discussing about the DBMS architecture. So under this again, they are no, discussing three more units. The topics were under these units were that is normalization and the database system architecture and its models and what are the storage structures. So these are the three units are going to cover under the block 2. Now coming to block 3, under block 3, they are covering file organization and storage access and database transactions. So these are the three units they are covering under the block 3. And under the block 4, they are covering the structured query language, that is SQL, structured query language, and its commands, data manipulation commands, they are covering under this section in the unit to 11. And they are covering under unit to 12, the advanced structured query language. So these are the three units covering under the block 4. So coming together, so total four blocks altogether we have 12 units are there. So this is the complete syllabus of the your DBMS subject. So you can go through this DBMS subject as per this authors provided syllabus and your university provided this syllabus. Now in the last, they have given some model question papers also. You can refer them for your exam purpose. And we'll discuss one by one. The first unit to see the fundamentals of DBMS. The first unit, the fundamentals of DBMS. Now for this, I'm giving one textbook, NCERT textbook. You can also refer the same textbook and you can also refer the multiple other textbook also. So whichever is comfortable for you, you can refer that textbook. So this is one more textbook is provided by the NCERT for the same concepts. I'm referring to only concepts, not a complete textbook. I'm not referring for the subject. Only I'm taking the particular concept from your syllabus and that particular topic only we discuss from the other textbook. Now in this, fundamentals of TBMS. Under the fundamentals of TBMS, so we are going to talk about the introduction of data. Now see, yes, we are going to cover now under this first unit, we are going to cover now what is the definition and history and what are the kinds of applications of the DBMS. Now under this, now we are going to talk about the introduction of the data, what exactly data is and importance of data and what are the types of data, the kinds of data collection and data storage. So with these prerequisite topics, we will understand what exactly the DBMS is. So let's start the topic now, introduction to data. Now see, the topic is introduction to the data. Now, what exactly the data is, we can understand with some real-time scenarios and real-time examples we will understand. Now, let us see this. So many times people take decisions based on certain data or information. So whenever you want to work, you depend on the some kind of data. Okay. Example you take here. Example here, you take one scenario is you want a admission in the college. You want to get admission in the college. So when you look at the placement of data previous years of that college, okay, what are the educational qualification and experience of the faculty members, laboratory and hostel facility, all these kinds of facilities you look for to join in that college or not. So to know about all these facilities, you need the data, isn't it? So this is one kind of real-time example. So generally, most of the people will depend on the primary, basic level data. If you want to get admission into any college or anywhere, so generally you look for the background, some kind of basic facilities or infrastructure related data you look for. So this is one example. If you want to get admission into any college or any new university, you look for the kind of facilities or kind of infrastructure the university or college is providing to you. So to know about all those services or infrastructure details, you want the data. So that what exactly the data in this case. Now, second case you see, now second case, when you want to count, when you want to count the population. Now see here, the government is systematically collecting the some kind of information. So that is they're the some kind of census they want to calculate. So the census data contains so lot of important information. So that information is more useful to the government to formulate some kind of policies or rules. So for that, the government require lot of data it requires. Okay, in this case, so census will give lot of data to the government to to make some kind of policies or some kind of rules. So this is second case, that is calculating census and getting admission into the college. Okay, and third case, third example, if you observe, suppose you want the coaching staff of a sports team analyzes previous performance of the opponent teams for making strategies. So if you take another example, so related to the sports. So for the sports team, the coach will depend on the opponent team, their strength and weakness related data. So if they know the strength and weakness of the opponent team, they can make the better strategies. Means they can make the better plans how to win on the opponent team easily. So for that, to make the strategies, to make the plans, the team require the opponent team basic data like their what is their weakness and what is their strength. Is this related data it requires? So this is the third scenario. The first scenario is you want to get admission into college. You need basic facilities details. The second case is government required census related data, means population data. So the population data, if they know, they make the policies, they make the rules, they make the more more decisions they will make. And third case is in the sports. In the sports, one team will take the details of the other teams, their strength and weakness. So likewise, both the teams will take the basic data likewise. Okay, these are the called data. If this data is not available, they cannot make some kind of decisions. So for this, to make some kind of decisions, they need data. So in this field, one field is education. The second field is the government making some kind of policies. And the third field is in sports. Okay. Now, likewise, the next one. The other example, if you take in the previous example, we have discussed those. Next one is uh, choosing a college. Suppose you take a placement cell. Suppose you take a placement cell of the college. Okay, that will maintain the students' data. So that will maintain the students' data. So how the students placed in the different companies and what are the salary, okay, and how many years they work in the company. So this kind of data is maintained by placement cell. Okay. And looking at such data, so one cannot make any remark about the placement of students of that college. So that means education institution. One is if you want to get admission to college or university, you want data. And in the placement department of the education institution, the placement cell has to maintain some kind of data. So if data is available, if any student wants to join in the college, they look for the placements. So if the placement is when they look for the placement, they approach the placement cell. The placement cell has to keep all these details. So then only the student can make the better decision that to join in the particular college or not. So based on these all details, if the placement cell provides, the student will make a better choice. This is one more example. So this is placement cell. So placement cell will maintain lot of students' data. So that will provide it to the students whenever they require. This is one more example. So likewise, most of the very everywhere, almost in every field, they use the data to make the decisions. So to summarize that, so if you want to take any decision, you require data. So in simple terms, we say that if you want to make any kind of decision, you require simple data. So that is what exactly the data means. If you want to make a simple example, if you want to make a journey from one place to another place, so for that also you require some basic data. Example, if you take, I want to travel from one place to another place. Okay. Here I'm starting from this place and this place. And if I want to travel from this place to this place, I need to know basic data like how many kilometers the distance is. So one data I have required. Okay. Is that path is busy or any traffic jams or any things like that? I want to know the data like that. Okay. So these are some kind of basic data. If you know, then you can make the decisions little easy than complex. Okay. You can make better decisions. So this is what exactly the data is. And I can see it. In the following list contains some examples of data that we often come across. So in these cases, in these all cases, we come across the importance of the data, why we require data. See, take example is we need some name, age, gender, contact details of a person. Okay, in some examples. And in some examples, we need transaction data generated through banking, so ticketing, shopping, So in these areas, we require data. And some areas we require images, graphics, animation, audio, video. Some areas we required this data. And somewhere we required web pages and documents. And somewhere we required online post, comments, and messages. So likewise, almost and up to everywhere we need some data. So this is what exactly the data is. Now, next one is the importance of the data. Now, why this data is so important? What is the reason? What is the reason behind that? Without having this data, can't we make any decision? We will make decisions, but it is little complex, little complex. That is. Now see this example. What is the importance of data? Data, if you see this, now see the human beings they rely on data for making any decisions. So that we discussed in the above point. Now we said large amount of data when processed with the help of a computer, okay, it shows us that the possibilities are hidden traits which are otherwise not visible to humans. So example is, suppose I want to withdraw money from the ATM. So the bank needs debit the withdraw amount from the your account. I mean your linked account. So the bank needs to maintain the data and update it and whenever it is required. So generally everybody you will have the ATM card. So when you go to the ATM center, so the ATM center, ATM machine will take the ATM card details. So immediately from your bank account, the amount is withdrawn, and then from your balance, the amount is deducted, and that is immediately updated in your account. Okay. So for this, all these this process is called transaction, and for this transaction, it requires data. Now, without knowing your bank details, now this is the user, this is the ATM machine. You are inserting ATM card. The machine is asking some basic details. Enter your PIN number. Okay, enter your PIN number. Now, if you don't provide the PIN number, this machine cannot make the decision. If you provide the PIN number, then only the machine will take the decision. It will proceed to another stage. Okay. So likewise, each and every stage it requires data. So that what exactly the importance of the data is. So if you don't provide this one data and it cannot process the your request. So you cannot withdraw money. If you want to change the PIN number, you want to provide your old PIN number. So if you don't provide old PIN number, that cannot make any decision. So that means in each and every stage, if you wanted to take any decision, that requires some kind of data. This example shows that how much importance the data is. Yes. Now I hope you would understand this example. Now remaining paragraph, you can go through that, you will understand all this. Now this paragraph is about the how the how one in banking transactions, how the transaction is taking place with the help of the data, with the help of the data. Now, yes, see. Now, following some of the other scenarios where the data are also stored and analyzed for making decisions. So, as I said now, if you want to withdraw money, um, machine will depend on your input. Input means whatever the data you provide. Likewise, there are other scenarios also there where they can take the data to make the decisions. They can take the data to make the decisions. So such scenarios are listed under here. So one is electronic voting machine. So this is used for recording the votes casted. Okay, votes that are casted, and subsequently the voting data from all the machines are accumulated to declare the election result in a short time as compared to manual counting of the ballot papers. So here they are storing the data, and upon storing the data, they are making the decision. Okay, why they are storing, what is the importance of storing, we will discuss in future classes. But here see, if you want to take the decision, you need data. If here, in this case, they are taking the decision that they want to they want to publish the result, result. To publish the result, they want to calculate how many votes have been casted. Okay, and that is they can calculate from from the machine that is stored is one, and they can also count from the ballot papers. So one is manual and one is digital, electronic. So there are two ways the data is stored here. So one is electronic, one is manual. Manual here is what ballot papers. So this is one of the scenario that in electronic voting machines, the votes are being stored in electronical format. And in the same machine, the ballot papers will stored in the manual process. So this is the data is stored. So that from the storage data, they are making some kind of processes, and they are taking some kind of decision. If this data is not available, they cannot take the decision. So this is one kind of scenario. The next one is the scientists. You take scientists. The scientist will record the data while doing some experiments. There are a lot of experiments the scientists will make. So the experiments, they calculate and they compare the result. And for this, they want to store the data. And for upon storing the data, they want to calculate some kind of results. So here the data is stored, and upon storing that, and from that data, they are taking some kind of decision. So one field is what scientific field, and one is the voting machine, and one more other likewise one more field is pharmaceutical companies. They use the data, and the library, they use the data. The search engines, they use the data. Search engines here is, for example, Google. Google is one search engine. Yahoo is one search engine. Bing is one search engine. Okay. They use the data. Now, likewise, these are all. So next one is weather related. The weather alerts, they are generated by analyzing the data. So these are the some kind of areas. So one is the voting machines, one is scientists, they use the data, one is librarians, they use the data, and one search engines, they use the data, and weather forecasting, they use the data. So these are the only few examples or few areas where the data is used. Okay, that is the importance of the data is. So not only this, there are so many other areas are there. So based on your interest, you can explore them. So where it is used. So this is the importance of the data is. The next one is types of data. So what are the types of data there? Yes, Saitej, are you there in the class? Are you able to, is it audible, my voice? If you're not able to reply, you can text in the chat box. Are you able to understand or not? You can post your message in the chat box. You can simplify my examples. Okay. Next topic is types of data. Now see here, basically they are now just now as of now we discussed that there are a lot of data is available. So from that data by from that data by using the data we can make the decisions. Okay, we can store the data. So upon storing the data, we process the data, and from that process the data we make the decisions. So that is okay. Now question is how many types of data is available? Now see here, the data is coming from different sources. The data is coming from different sources. Excuse me. Yeah, types of data. Now see here, the data is coming from so many places. Here sources means you can say some kind of places. Right? So that is called source. Where the data is coming from, we say that that is a source. Here that is the data contain one is source and one is format. One is format. The next one they can be in different format. That means this data is coming from different sources and different format. The data is coming from different sources and the data is available in the different formats. These are the two properties the data will contain. The example you take, an image is a collection of pixels. If you take an image, you take here image is there. If you zoom out, zoom in, zoom out the image, you can see some kind of pixels. Okay. If you take a video, the video is made up of frames. Okay. The image is made up of pixels. The video is made up of the frames. Okay. Likewise, if you take any number, so if you take any preset, so that is made up of the numeric and non-numeric entries. If you take any receipt, the receipt will contain numeric values and non-numeric values. Example means it contains numbers and it contains alphabets. So likewise. So these are with this example, we can understand that the data is having so many formats and the data is coming from so many places. That place we are calling technically source. So still now it's okay. Now question is that there are broadly there are two categories. There are two categories. One is that is structured data and one is unstructured data. Yes, it's classified on basis of their format. The data is classified based on their format. The data is classified based on their format, not on the source. That data is coming from different sources. Okay. But it is not classified according to the source. It is classified based on the format. Okay, now see the format here we are talking about. So one is structured data and next one is unstructured data. Now, is it okay to you? The data is two types. One is structured data, another one is unstructured data. Unstructured data. Now, data is coming from different sources and different formats. Keep remember these 2 points very important. The data is coming from different sources. The data is in the form of different formats. Now, data is two types. One is structured, one is unstructured. Remember these points. The data is coming from different sources. The data is available in different formats. Now the data is there. Now we are classified into two types. One is structured data and another one is unstructured data. Now what is structured data we'll discuss. Now your structured data is, see here, you see this, the structured data, it is organized, which is organized and can be recorded in a well-defined format. That is called structure. You can see the term is well-defined. It is well-defined format. So that kind of data is called structured data. So what is well-defined, we will discuss. You see here, structured data is usually stored in computer. Okay. How it is stored in a computer? It will store in the computer in tabular format. What is tabular format means? It is in rows and columns. So likewise, this is a table. This is a tabular. This is contained. This is rows and column. This is row and this is column. So that is the data stored in the computer in a tabular format. Tabular means the table format. Okay. In this table format, the how it is in the table format, in the rows and columns format. Okay. And each column represents different data for a particular parameter called attribute and characteristics. So many likewise. So here, this column contain data and this row contain data. So in simple term, you can remember that the structured data is stored in the computer. In the computer, it is stored in tabular format. In the tabular format, it will stored in rows and columns. Did you understand this? Now, example, like in example, is there table is there in the below? You can see this is a table. Now this is a table you see. Now this table is having this is a column, this is a column, and this is a row. Here, how many rows are there? Row 1, row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Row 7. Okay, how many columns are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Okay. So that means this column is having the data and this row is having the data. Now this is the data containing in table format, tabular format. You can call table format. Okay. That is in the rows and columns. Okay. Now this is called structured data. Okay. Structured data. The structured data will contain some kind of, some kind of that properties, or you can call attributes. Example, if you take a bookshop contain books. Okay. In the books, every book contain title, every book contain author, every book will have this some kind of price, and every book contains some kind of year of publication. Okay. These are some kind of fields or parameters or attributes you can call. This all attributes are belongs to one book. You can say one book. If you take a school, okay, the school can in the school they contain the student name, okay, the student class. That is, the school contains students. So the student contains what are the data, what are the details the student contains. The student contains student name, the student class, which class is studying, or roll number, their roll number, he or she, and the fees amount, and when they paid, deposited, date. So these are the details on student content in the school. Now, if you take a no ATM machine withdraw, when you go to ATM center to withdraw money, so you will have your details. Yeah, ATM machine will have your details like what is your name, account holder name, no account number, the type of account, saving or current, whatever. Next, data withdrawal. When you have withdrawn money, amount withdrawn, how much money you have withdrawn. Okay. ATM ID. Okay. Time of withdrawal. What time you have withdrawn money. So these are all transaction details the ATM machine will contain. Okay. This is called structured manner. This is called structured. So this is the every activity or every object you can take that contain attribute. You can call it fields, you can call parameter, you can call attribute. So every data item contain the data fields, the data parameters, and data attributes. So like this type of example we call structured data. So we know exactly every book will contain title. So that's a universal truth. So any book you purchase, the book contains book title. Okay, that is called structure. So without a name, the book doesn't consist or exist. Now coming to unstructured, you take unstructured here. Unstructured, there is no table, you see. Unstructured, we have not given any table here. Now see why we have not given any table, you see. Observe one case. Observe one case here. You take any newspaper. You take any newspaper, excuse me. You take any newspaper. Newspaper contains the types of news items. So the types of news items, they are called data. Types of news items, they are called data. You take any newspaper like this newspaper contains some news. Some news are related to political, some news are related to education, some news related to business, okay? Some news related to some other entertainment, okay? So likewise, the newspaper cover each and every type of news, okay? So that is data, but there is no fixed pattern that newspaper follows in placing news articles. Here, this article cover how much size. This article cover how much size, how many lines of sentences, we don't know. It will change according to the news. And this news article contain how many sentences, we don't know. Okay, how much size on the newspaper it will take, we don't know. Okay, and what is the type of article it will be given. Okay, but how much size, how many sentences it will contain on the newspaper, it will change every day. It will change every day and according to the news item. So here it is changing every time. So that's why it is called unstructured. So there is no fixed pattern. So every day the newspaper doesn't print the article only in this size. Some day it will print article in 5 lines. Some day it will print the articles in 10 lines. Okay. So there is no fixed size, how much is size it is going to print on the newspaper. Okay. There is no pattern like that. So So one day they may print image, one day they may print a text, one day they may print, some kind of advertisement. Okay. Likewise, they change according to the news type. So that's why this kind of new data is called unstructured. This kind of data is called unstructured because there is no structure, right? So that is unstructured. So no particular format. Yes, the no particular format. The data doesn't contain no particular format because someday image, okay, someday some text, someday some other number, advertisement, someday's combination, number and text, okay. So that's why the data is, there is no particular format or not a fixed structure for printing the news. So another example you take, this is related to newspaper. So if you observe the newspaper data is unstructured. Okay. If you observe your Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube comments, every these areas, these field, the data is in the unstructured format. There is no fixed format. See, in the YouTube you take, YouTube comments are not fixed. Some user will write lengthy comment, some user will write short comment, and some user will use images, some user will use emojis, some user will audio. So likewise, they use the no data format like that. So there is no fixed format. So another example, you take email. Email also, there is no fixed structure. So how many lines and paragraphs are going to write in an email body? Okay, there is no fixed format. Okay. Now one more example, you take web pages. So we have taken one example is newspaper. One example is newspaper. And second example, we have taken uh, email. Okay. And third example, you take web pages. In short, you can call websites also. Websites. Website contain web pages. Web pages. So web pages also, they contain text as well as some other multimedia contents. Multimedia contents like, they contain images, they contain graphics, they contain audio, video. So if you observe the web page contain all these data formats. We call it as the data formats. One data format is the text, one data format is image, one data format is graphics, and one data format is audio and video. So there is no fixed format like that. Okay, that's why this is unstructured. Now, other example, you can upload text document. One example, web page. Other example, you take text document. Another example, business reports. You take some kind of books and audio, video files and social media messages. So all these, all these areas, the data is unstructured. The data is unstructured. So this is what exactly the types of data is. Now we have discussed two types of data now. Structured data and one is unstructured data. The structured data is coming from different sources and different formats. The structured data is, it contain the attribute, the properties, okay, some kind of fields. The structured data contain, it contain in the rows and column format, that is a table format. The unstructured data is, data doesn't contain fixed format, that will contain different formats. Okay. So these are the two types of data. Now coming to data collection. Now for processing data, we need to collect or gather the data, isn't it? See, uh, you see, this is the data. Now this data is there. By using the data, we are taking the decision, some kind of decision, isn't it? If you want to take the decision, you want to process the data, isn't it? Process the data. Okay. Process the data. If you want to process the data, you have to store the data. Okay. You have to store the data. If you want to store the data, you have to collect the data, isn't it? You have to collect the data. Understood. The sequence, you understood. I want to make the decision. See, I want to make decision. I want data. Okay. Data is there. Okay. On the data, if I want to make decision, I have to process. If I want to process, it is to be stored. If I want to store any data, first I need to collect the data. Isn't it? So that is data collection. Data collection. So for processing the data, we need to collect the data, or we can gather the data, collect the data. Okay. Now, after collecting the data, we will store the data. Okay. Where we will store the data? Now the question is, we have collected the data. We have collected data, we are storing the data. Now you can store the data in file or else in the database. So why we are talking about the DBMS? This is the story. This story, if you understand what is the importance of the DBMS, we will understand. Then next class, we will understand more clearly. So what is the reason behind going to DBMS? Now store the data. Where you can store the data means how you can store the data means you can store the data in the file format. You can store the data in the database. Why we store the data? After that, we can use the data. If you want to take any decision, and that stored data can be used. So that is the purpose you are storing the data. Now, your data collection means identifying that is already available data or collecting from the appropriate sources. So if you want to collect the data will contain some kind of source. Where you are collecting the data, from where you are collecting the data. Okay, are you collecting from the website? Are you collecting from the book? Are you collecting from the where? The place where you are collecting the data. That place is called source. Suppose there are three different exam scenarios you can take. Example, sales data we will observe. So there is a grocery store available. Okay. Now sales data are available, the shopkeeper, okay, in a diary or register. Now, in this case, we should enter the data in digital format. Digital format. See, the shopkeeper is having the data in the register. The shopkeeper having the data in a diary or in the register. Okay. Now this data in the manual process, manual. Now this data, manual data, we want to make it digital. We want to make it digital format. Okay. Now if we want to make it digital format, we have to store it in some file. That file we are example, we have taken Excel. Spreadsheet here means what? Excel. You can take Excel, you can take, Word, you can take, any other you want. Any kind of document you can take. So that is, after collecting the data, you are storing the data. You are storing in the file or database. Okay. So how you are collecting and storing? Example, we are observing that one sales data. Example is what? One sales data. The sales data is there with the shopkeeper. Isn't it? The sales data is there with the shopkeeper. In the shop, with the shopkeeper, the data is available in the diary and the register format. In the register, manual. You can call notebook. A diary you can call notebook. From that notebook, from that register, you want to convert that into digital format, or you want to put it in the digital format. To put it in the digital format, we have the documents like spreadsheet, Excel, you can call Word. So this is how you can convert the manual data into digital data. Digital data. So this is one format here. Spreadsheet means what here? Format. Data format. Now the data register format, from the register format to spreadsheet format, it is converted. This is one format. And Word document is one format. Okay. These are called data formats. Next, one more format is CSV format. comma separated value format dot CSV. You can call dot CSV dot DOC dot TXT. Okay. These are all what? These are all data formats. So without opening the file, I can say that my data is in the CSV format, or my data is in the DOC format, my data is in the TXT format. So I can directly say like this. So this is what data formats are. Now, now see, okay, the shopkeeper is stored their data in the spreadsheet format. Okay. Now after that, the shopkeeper has so far not recorded any data in either no either form, but wants to get a software developed for maintaining sales data and accounts. Okay. Now the shopkeeper they want what they have not recorded any data in the any format, but the shopkeeper wants some kind of software. That software with the software, what the shopkeeper do? They'll do some kind of sales and they maintain the sales data and they do some kind of accounts. Okay. So that is the software is developed by using the programming language. Okay. So such programming languages are so many programming languages are there. So, okay, example here we can take Python. And this Python will store and retrieve the data from the CSV file. One is CSV file and one is database management system like MySQL. Okay, this one we will discuss in the fourth block. And you have four blocks are there, right? In the fourth block, we will discuss. Now, this is one example. Why we are going to develop one software. Why? What is the reason behind that? Means one shopkeeper they want one software to be developed for their maintaining their sales data and to maintain some kind of accounts, to calculate their accounts. For this reason, they want one software. The software is developed by using the programming language. Here, example programming language, we are taking Python, but the Python programming language need one file where our data is in the file format. So that file is taken by the Python. Okay. So after that, it will process. Okay. Now here the data continuously generated at different sources. Okay, different sources. Here the data is continuously generated at different sources. Okay, these are the examples. Now this is enough for your data collection. So data collection we have discussed how the data is collected. After collecting the data, how in which file format we can store. So the data can be collected from different sources. The data can be stored in different file formats. Example file formats we have discussed here is one is Excel spreadsheet format, one is CSV format. Okay. So after storing the file format, we can use the file formats. We can use the file formats. So these are the your what exactly the data is. Now we have discussed as a what is the data, importance of the data, what is data, importance of the data, and what are the types of data. The two types of data is available, structured data and unstructured data. And structured data contains the data attributes, the data fields, okay? And unstructured data doesn't contain like that. They're in different formats and different sizes. So we cannot predict, we cannot expect the data format, okay? So that is unstructured data. Next one, data collection. How we can collect the data from the manual register to the digital procedure. So you can collect the data. The data contains sources, means where you are collecting, from where you are collecting the data. So these are the points we have discussed. After all these, the next component is data storage. After this, collecting the data, we can store the data. To store the data, we require a device. So these are the kind of devices are available in the market. So these are HDDs is there, SSD is there, CDR DVD is there, tape drive is there, pen drive is there, memory card is there. So these are the devices are available in the market. In these devices, you can store the data. Now, in these devices, can you directly store the data? Means even you have to go for file. You have to store in the file. Device means not inside the device. Inside the device, there is a software. So by using the software, we create the file. Inside the file, we store the data. Okay. Now, now we store the data like what kind of data we can store? We can any day, any kind of data we can store, any kind of data format we can store. We can store images, we can store document, we can store audio, videos, any kind of data we can store in the computer. Okay. Now, now we use the computers to add now the data. Where is the data is now inside the computer. Now, when it is in the computer, we can add some more data to the existed data, or we can modify the data, we can delete the data. Okay. So all these kind of processes we can apply on the data. Now, what we call term here file. Now, file. Now the concept is what file. Now, where is the data now in the file now? File format. Okay. Now, but this file format is having some kind of disadvantages. Okay. Disadvantage. What is a file system? What are the disadvantages of the file system? After that, and we'll discuss about the what is the importance of the DBMS. So this is what exactly the prerequisite for the DBMS. Why we are to discuss the DBMS means there is a file system is available. The file system is having some kind of drawbacks or limitations or disadvantages. So for that, we are discussing the DBMS. In the next session, we will discuss the DBMS concepts. So one by one. Okay.